You have ghosts, you have everything. If you have ghosts, you have everything. You can say anything you want, you can do anything you want. If you have ghosts, you have everything.
I'm M.R. Floyd. Tonight, we've reached the end of the road. Here is the path we are following to close out this season. Labyrinth of Macomb. We explore the occult energy radiating from the stones of Louisiana to St. Augustine, Florida. Through sound clips and the photography of Zech Browning, we'll feel the physical weight of these haunted spaces. With Jefferson Davis 8, we ground the fiction in a terrifying reality. The unsolved case of the innocent souls that prove the shadows in the real world are often darker than any scream. But ghosts in the evidence. Miami Night 17 breaks down the 4 phases of supernatural forensics, a professional methodology for the traces left by the dead and how they are interpreted by empaths. A path to redemption. Marty and Rust's journey and redemption. We'll examine how their story serves as a parallel to this podcast and to our very own lives. We'll close the night by reflecting on the journey we've shared this season and pulling back the veil on our next era. If you've been walking this path with us, make sure you're subscribed on Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, and Podcast Addict. If you're listening on Apple Pods, look at the top right of your screen, hit that plus sign. That's how you follow us. We've reached the center of Carcosa, and as Russ would say, this is the place. Let's finish this journey together.
Marty. This is the place.
This is The Light is Still Winning.
To your right, little priest. Take the bride's path. This is Carcosa. You know what they did to me?
When I was a child, I heard voices. Some would sing and some would scream. You soon find you have few choices. I learned the voices died with me. When I was a child, I'd sit for hours staring into open flame. Something in it had a power, could barely tear my eyes away. All you have is your fire, and the place you need to reach. Don't you ever tame your demon, but always keep 'em on a leash.
We're back. This is Miami Night 17. If you've seen season 1 finale of True Detective, you know this haunted structure. Fort Macabre isn't just a location, it's the physical manifestation of a nightmare. I recently dropped a gallery of Zech Browning's photography, and the engagement is massive. Over 300 upvotes and a thread full of people feeling that Yellow King dread all over again.
It's a different world inside those arches. When you move through the tunnels, the temperature drops, air feels thicker, It's like walking through water. You can almost hear the brickwork breathing. It's not just abandonment, it's a presence.
Exactly. And that's where we see Zech Browning's photography this week. Zech was out there on site, and his shots, man, they didn't blink. He captured the way the moss is literally eating the brick architecture like a slow motion consumption.
Yeah, it was so cool to see, another person go there and then now get to talk and collaborate with them. And it's just such a high value asset. Like going to that fort myself, the energy there, it feels like you're kind of doing something you shouldn't be. It's like it's got that heavy feeling and that true flat circle of decay. And let's bring in Zech. So Zech, you're standing there in the heart of it right now. You've been touring through Louisiana, catching all the vibes. Can you just tell us like what you're seeing through the lens, what you're feeling when you're on site in those locations? Like, how is it over there?
Initially, when I entered into the structure, you walk through an open doorway and it has these large wooden doors on them, and they're really heavy duty doors, and there's some graffiti there, and it has a very eerie feeling. To be honest with you, I really, it made me a little nervous walking in there, to be honest with you. So when I went in, and when you first walk through the structure, there's tunnels, and you immediately see the tunnels on the left and the right, and it's dark and there's nothing there, and it opens into a courtyard. And this big open courtyard, you can see all these different openings throughout this area, and it's all overgrown, and there's brush everywhere. So it feels very raw. It feels very wild when you're in there. And to have that opportunity to be able to do that was just an amazing feeling. But to be honest, it was a little eerie going in initially.
And so when you say you kind of just walked in, did you just do that? You walked in? Were you worried about, I don't know, getting caught? Did it feel like private property or anything?
No. Initially, I had a concern with that before I made it to the structure, but I did a little research on it, looking at Google Maps, and I saw that there was a gate there. I didn't see any signage. And when I drove out to that location, there was nothing saying do not enter. There was no signs or anything of that nature. And the gates were wide open. So when I pulled in there, I just went right on in.
Open season. Dora Langtree, a little different. That one's kind of blocked off, but I was able to successfully get there. We talked about this earlier in the podcast season. I was able to get to the Dora Langtree in 2022, snap some photos. Maybe you'll try that again tomorrow. Who knows? But that's just the whole, all your photos. And again, shout out to the community for, recognizing and loving your artwork, and huge shout out to you for just being on site. So tell us about like your love for photography, and then specifically in this type of, theme. It's got that like gothic, rural kind of worldview. Like how's that all tie together?
Well, historically speaking, Miami Nights and I, histories have crossed paths before. And the show itself, I'm a huge fan of it. And everything about the show, every time I watch it, I see something new or something different that I didn't notice before, because it's such a well-written, intricate story. And that really resonated with me as an individual. In terms of the photography, one of the things that I love to do is find filming locations to photograph that are in shows that I love. In particular, this is my absolute favorite show. The reason why I come down and look for these locations is because cinematography itself is an art, and how well a story can be told can really fool you from what the actual surroundings of the area are. So it gives me different insight on how to tell a story. So with the show itself, having the opportunity to see these locations, it gave me that behind the scenes look that I wanted to share with everybody. And the fact that the community embraced the photographs, I'm extremely grateful for. I can't be any more grateful for that. And also for the opportunity to speak on the show with you guys. It's a great opportunity and it's beautiful. But in order for me to try to capture that, I just try to to evoke an emotion. And if I can evoke an emotion from someone by seeing a photograph or get you to feel something, then I've reached my goal as an artist. So I always try to accomplish that through the lens. And I always say, let me paint you a picture with my lens. And if it gives you that feeling, then it's a win.
I love that, man. That was perfectly said. And that's exactly what your photos do. And like, it's hard to describe, like when we watch this show, it's like, oh, wow, this is like like the cinematography in the show is great, but like when you're there and you're seeing those trees and just the eeriness and like the abandoned places that have so much history, it ties everything together. And sometimes, people can't obviously experience that feeling if they're not on site. So much like watching the show and now seeing these photos from a fan's perspective and how that touched you and just like your love for photography, it kind of brings everything together, and kind of why, us three are together right now. What brought us together was True Detective, but so much more than that in terms of the feelings of like everything that this show speaks of, and the struggle of man, struggle of humanity, the evil, the darkness, but also the light. So as we get to this, final season of our rewatch of True Detective and of the podcast, it's again, man, it's a pleasure to have you on board. And tell us where can we find your stuff? IG, you got a website, you making prints? The fans want more, man.
I appreciate that. You can find me on Instagram. I'm Zech.Browning.75, spelled Zech. It's easy to find me on there. Feel free to link up with me. I do have a website, www.zechbrowning.com. Just reach out if you have any questions or any requests. I'm happy to help anyone out that needs anything.
Yeah, and Zech, I've seen how the True Detective Reddit community has reached out to your gallery, hundreds of upvotes, people commenting all throughout the week. For the most part, I really see that they recognize the truth in your frame, and they see that you're not just a fan of the show, but you express your passion through your artwork. And honestly, it's a privilege to work with you and for you to be a part of this, brother.
I appreciate it. Thank you all so much. Thank you so much.
Good shit, boys.
I mean, I was going to ask both of you been there? I haven't. A lot of the people listening have not. I mean, could both of you just kind of walk through your experience there and record it?
I would tell you that what I didn't say was there was another car there when I pulled in, and I thought to myself, man, I hope there ain't somebody homeless in this place who's going to try to rob me. You know what I mean? Like, I really thought. And it turned out to be two other photographers that were in there photographing things. To be honest with you, I ended up being glad that they were there because
somebody else was there.
Yeah, I know
you're saying.
So,
right.
Like me and these two other guys, we went all through this structure. I mean, I'm talking, we went up on top of the walls. We walked around the perimeter on the outside. We went to the inside. When I got out, I was so excited about being there. I didn't even grab a flashlight. You know what I mean? Like, right. I just went straight on in, didn't think about none of that, made sure my car was locked, and I was gone.
Gone. So on the Reddit, and this is from the photos, one person said, how'd you get in there? I'm reading about it, and it's closed to the public due to safety. And you put the gate was open, no one was around, there was not posting saying do not enter. Actually, there were two other people there, and that got 15 upvotes. So obviously, people that are looking at your photos and listening want to hear that part of it.
It really was an eerie feeling. Like, I'm not joking about that. Like,
right.
And to be fair, I've been in a lot of precarious places, and I typically don't get nervous for anything at all, ever. And, people don't mess with me when I go places. They just don't.
Right.
So, and I had that feeling when I went in there, just because it was off the beaten path. You had to go. You can't see the fort from the road when you pull in because you've been there, right? So the gate was open, and I was like, "Well, the hell with it, I'm going in."
Okay. There's not much I would want to expand on specifically with the fort, because when I was there, it felt more public. It felt more, I think they were just wrapping up filming something, because I don't know what they were filming, but I saw like some professional gear there. I saw like stagehand equipment, and that was like covering a little section of it. But then I could just walk, and again, it was broad daylight. It was probably 4 p.m. or something. I could just walk through. Yeah, and even though it was like, you see some gates and whatnot, gates are meant to be open. That gate's open. I'm going in.
We're 100%.
Yeah,
trespassing is fine.
Trespassing is indeed fine, man.
The signs. There was nothing saying "Do not enter private property." Okay, I'm going in.
It's totally fine, man.
We always talk about Miami being a big city, small town. When you cross the bridge into Louisiana and hit Jefferson Davis Parish, that small town feels like a cage. In 2005, a woman named Loretta Lewis was found floating in a canal. She was the first. By 2009, there were 8. But here's what they don't tell you in the news. The water in those canals doesn't hide the bodies. It washes away the sins of the people that own the land.
So we're talking about the Jennings 8. Everyone says True Detective is just a prestige drama. But if you look at the 2005 to 2009 timeline, especially in Jeff Davis, the parallels aren't just inspiration. They're a confession. These weren't random victims of a wandering predator. Those 8 women shared the same motels, the same streets, and most importantly, they shared the same secret knowledge. In the Bayou, knowledge isn't power. It's a death sentence. All 8 women were invisible to the system, poverty-stricken, struggling with addiction, the perfect innocent souls to offer up to a total cult of silence. The real horror isn't that a killer was loose. It's that the killer might have been wearing a uniform.
Think about Sutherland's differential association theory. We learn from who we're around. In Jennings, the definitions favorable to law-breaking didn't come from the alleys. They came from the precinct. Investigators like Ethan Brown uncovered a sprawl of misconduct. We're talking about a sheriff's investigator allegedly purchasing a truck used to move a body. We're talking about witnesses, police informants being silenced one by one. This is the flat circle on the flesh. The law doesn't cast a monster. The law is in the monster's skin.
It's like if the authority figures are the ones providing the excess of definitions, that these women's lives are disposable. Then the king in yellow isn't a myth. It's the systematic apathy of a corrupt parish. When Russ Cole finds those wellspring schools, he's touching the fictional nerve of what locals call the Bayou Mafia. It's an interlocking web where the pimp, the politician, and the police are all the same 3-headed beast.
Every single one of these women had been a police informant. Every single one. They were the eyes and the ears of South Jennings. But in a conspiracy of this magnitude, once you've seen the face of the king, you aren't an asset anymore. You're a liability.
Nick Pizzolatto grew up in Lake Charles, a stone's throw from these dumping grounds. You can't breathe that acidic refinery air and not taste the rot. He's been coy about the JD8 connection. But you see it in the Tuttle family. That brand of high-level protection where religion and politics mask a ritualistic cruelty. In Jennings, the Tuttles were the investigators related to the suspects, the missing case files, and the shadows in the sheriff's office.
In the show, Russ finds the report filed in error. In Jeff Davis, the reality is scarier. A multi-agency task force is formed, and what happens? Evidence vanishes. A 911 call where a victim literally names the men she's afraid of, deleted. DNA samples from the victim's car, lost. And the mail? That's the Yellow King's true power. Not a ritual knife, but a shredder and a lost manila folder.
8 women murdered over a 4-year span in south central Louisiana. Loretta Chasson Lewis, Ernestine Patterson, Kristen Lopez, Whitney Dubois, Laconia Brown, Crystal Benoit Zeno, Brittany Gary, Nicole Guillory. Their unsolved killings garnered national attention, often portrayed as the work of a serial killer.
Now eyewitness investigator Mike Pearlstein has obtained never-before-seen police documents, and what he's found suggests a very different and frightening theory.
When the last light warms the rocks and the rat.
Jennings is a small town on the edge of Cajun country. The paved streets give way to dirt roads as you hit the rice fields and crawfish ponds on the outskirts. These farmlands should be peaceful, but in Jennings, the roads lead to dark reminders of the horrible things that happened to 8 young women here. They all knew each other, used drugs together, and one by one, they all became murder victims. Their bodies were dumped along these rural roads, some in the weeds, some half submerged in canals. At a few spots, crime scene tape has been replaced by stark memorials.
And that's your biggest fear coming true. The hardest killers to catch are the ones who handle the paperwork. When I sat under the learning tree from guys who caught Ted Bundy, they told me the most dangerous predator is the one who has the keys to the evidence room.
Russ Cole said the world needs bad men to keep the other bad men from the door. But in Jennings, the bad men were the ones holding the door open and inviting the darkness in for a drink.
Once you realize the protectors are the predators, you become an outsider. Jesse Ewing, a sergeant in that parish, tried to blow the whistle. He was the real-life Russ Cole, and they treated him like a virus. The system didn't want the truth. They wanted the small-town image kept pristine, no matter the cost. The Jennings 8 case remains unsolved. 8 women, 8 lives, and a decade of questions that still don't have an answer. The Yellow King of reality isn't a supernatural entity. It's the cold hard fact that in some corners of this county, justice is the ghost that the marginalized are left to chase alone.
I bleed into you, colder than I know myself. Lost and evaded, I am someone else. It's a foreign view, echoed over our ego, held on to silence as I let our love go. Into strangers, 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 strangers.
In the world of criminology, a cognitive walkthrough is a formal investigational tool. But in the hands of a character like Russ Cole, it transcends procedure and becomes something closer to psychic archaeology. Today, we're breaking down the standard technique and how it parallels the supernatural methodology seen in True Detective. In a professional setting, this is reconstructive techniques used to retrieve memories and understanding the sequence of an event. It relies on environmental cues to trigger a better understanding of the offender's script, the step-by-step decisions they made, and we look at the physical phase first, mapping entry and exit points.
This is going to happen again. Or it's happened before. Both. Go on. It's fantasy enactment, ritual, fetishization, iconography. This is his vision. Her body is a paraphilic love map.
How's that?
An attachment of physical lust to fantasies and practices forbidden by society.
You get that from one of your books?
I did. Her knees are abraded, rug burns on her back, cold sores, gumline recession, bad teeth. There's decent odds she was a prost. He might not have known her, but this idea goes way back with him.
You got a chapter in one of those books on jumping to conclusions. You attach an assumption to a piece of evidence. You start to bend the narrative to support it, prejudice yourself.
Wait and see on the ID.
Next, we look at the mental phase, determining if the predator was organized or acting on impulse. The goal? To find the signature, the unnecessary acts the killer does to satisfy their own emotional need.
Like I said, I'm feeling a lot of stuff hit me at this time. My daughter's birthday, this dead woman. And, figured I'd work the case, you know, till Jillo called or we got an ID. State Vice gave me some addresses to follow up on. So far, nobody talked to me.
Evening, ladies. Just hoping to ask y'all a few questions.
Come on, man.
I'll get the next round.
You making trouble for us, sir?
No, I'm just looking to get some information on a woman. Maybe you know her.
Who's that? Hold on. We'll take 2 large Long Island iced teas, please.
Ma'am?
Russ Cole takes that standard walkthrough and pushes it into a neural, supernatural territory. He doesn't just look at the grass. He tries to feel the weight of the person who stood on it. He utilizes 4 distinct phases. In the physical phase, while a normal tech analyzes gait and height, Russ experiences the ghost in the room. He visualizes the kinetic energy of the crime as if it's still happening in a loop, time being a flat circle.
Okay. Tell me what you see.
Ligature marks on her wrist, ankles, and knees. Multiple shallow stab wounds to the abdomen. Hemorrhaging around throat. Lividity at the shoulders, thighs, and torso. She'd been on her back a while before he moved her.
In the mental phase, he's after neural synchronization. He doesn't want to know what they did. He wants to inhabit the logic of their madness. Then there's the emotional phase, the weight of the victim. He absorbs the psychosphere. He feels the victim's terror as a lingering presence, treating their last moments as a dream he's entering.
Set it down.
I know what happens next. I saw you in my dream. You're at Carcosa now. With me. He sees you. You'll do this again. Time is a flat circle.
I said, Nietzsche, shut the fuck up. Put it down!
Finally, the spiritual phase. He recognizes that the killer, the Yellow King, is trying to manifest a higher reality. He treats the crime scene like an altar, decoding the shrine to understand a dark theology.
What a trouble this guy went to. Seems real personal.
I don't think so. It's iconic, planned, and in some ways it was impersonal. Think of the blindfold.
This process is an essential ritual. Using synesthesia, he bridges the gap between the physical evidence and the metaphysical truth. He's a medium for the dead. His torment drives his talent, and his trauma drives his obsession.
You know, I think about my daughter now. You know what she was spared. Sometimes I feel grateful. The doctor said she didn't feel a thing. Went straight into a coma. And somewhere in that blackness, she slipped off into another deeper kind.
It's fascinating how that obsession mirrors the burden of the high-order empath. Dr. Jordan B. Peterson, a clinical psychologist and professor at the University of Toronto, has spent years dissecting the mechanics of the human psyche, and here he describes exactly what an empath is.
You know, we think of empathy as something like theory of mind.
Yeah.
You know, and that I can understand your pain, but that isn't, and it's conceptual, but that isn't really how it works. Because you use your body as a platform to run simulations of other people.
And you can see how Russ Cole is a living embodiment of the empath. He's someone who has lost the barrier between his own soul and the suffering of the world.
Why should I live in history, huh? Look, I don't want to know anything anymore. This is a world where nothing is solved. When someone once told me time is a flat circle. Everything we've ever done or will do, we're gonna do over and over and over again. And that little boy and that little girl, they're gonna be in that room again. And again. And again. Forever.
So, you couldn't manage to get shot?
Next time.
Thanks for not doubting us. Never did.
Here they come. Marty!
We open each show with these words: if you have ghosts, you have everything. For the most people, that's a haunt. For us, Cole, it's a professional methodology. In the season 1 finale, Rust doesn't walk through Carcosa. He lets the ghosts of every victim Childress ever touched lead him in by hand.
It's that line about tasting the psychosphere. Most detectives are looking for what's left behind. Fingerprints, fibers. Russ is looking for who is still there. He's not alone in those tunnels.
Stop saying shit like that. It's unprofessional.
Oh, is that what I'm going for here?
Just want you to stop saying odd shit, like you smell a psychosphere or you're in someone's faded memory of a town. Just stop.
Well, given how long it's taken for me to reconcile my nature, I can't figure I'd forgo it on your account, Marty.
This is the physical phase of the walkthrough. Watch the way he moves through the labyrinth of the Yellow King. He isn't just clearing corners. He's syncing his heart rate to the rhythm of the space. He's hearing the voices of victims speaking to him through the stone architecture, the piles of clothing, and the ritualistic staging. He's standing exactly where the victims stood at the moment of their ascension. He isn't just an investigator anymore. He's a ghost in the script. He's absorbed so much of the victim's trauma that he can finally see the killer's face in the dark.
He told Marty, "I'm not supposed to be here." And he's right. He's already crossed over. He's found everything in those ghosts.
And now the latest news update in the case of alleged Louisiana serial murderer Errol William Childress. It's a story that first broke nationwide 2 weeks ago when 2 former police officers, now private detectives, released information to a number of news and law enforcement agencies. Our last update confirmed physical evidence at the suspect's home proved connections to dozens of missing persons. In the meantime, the state attorney general and the FBI have discredited rumors that the accused was in some way related to the family of Louisiana Senator Edwin Tuttle.
What are you doing here?
Nothing. Nurse said I could come in.
Are you watching me sleep?
Well, you know what? I just got here. I was gonna leave, but then you woke up. Jesus, what's your fucking problem?
Nothing. What's your problem?
Not a care in the world.
I saw him, Marty. He was mowing that schoolyard in Pelican Island, 95. I couldn't tell how tall he was. He was sitting and his face was dirty, but I saw him.
That's what's bugging you.
Tuttle's committing the video. We didn't get them all.
Yeah, and we ain't gonna get them all. That ain't what kind of world it is, but we got ours.
I'm not supposed to be here.
Yeah. Well, I'll come back by tomorrow, buddy.
All right.
Don't ever change, man.
Redemption in the show or in life doesn't begin with a celebration. It begins with the weight of what you've done. In True Detective, Russ Cole is a man who spent years running from his own skin. There's a moment in the show where his mask slips.
It's rare to see him vulnerable like that. There are really only two people Russ and Marty truly apologize to, and that's each other. It's that raw recognition of shared trauma.
I was checking on to see how I ended up hanging around a bar. Sitting there, I couldn't think of a good reason not to. Usually I can.
Don't worry about it. Have some more coffee. Just try to make 10 minutes of conversation.
You got it.
I'll call Chris or somebody. Get you out of here.
Marty. I'm sorry, man.
Look, at that moment, Russ doesn't drink because he had trouble with it before. He's hanging around a bar because he couldn't think of a reason not to.
And then, the reciprocation. Marty finally sees the ghost Russ is carrying.
I was married, Marty, for 3 years. We had a baby girl. She died. Car accident. She was 2 years old. Marriage couldn't handle it.
Your kid died? I'm sorry, man. I'm so sorry. I didn't...
No, man, it wasn't you guys. It was just me. I was worried. You know, being around that kind of thing.
Disappears into the darkness of Louisiana after spending 6 months in a psychiatric hospital in Texas. He's essentially dead before he's actually dying, but it's the physical trauma, the hospital stays, that brings him through to the other side.
Now, what do you mean exactly, these visions you mentioned?
Oh, shit, I thought you knew. I told Marty about them, you know, down the line. Chemical flashbacks, neural damage. You know, from my time in the HIDTA, that's in high-intensity drug trafficking area.
He describes that darkness not as a void, but as a warm substance. He was ready to let go, but he woke up. And that's where the shift happens. He realizes the state of the world isn't just a lost cause.
I tell you, Marty, I've been up in that room looking out those windows every night here, just thinking. It's just one story. The oldest.
What's that?
Light versus dark.
Well, I know we ain't in Alaska, but Appears to me that the dark has a lot more territory.
Yeah. You're right about that. Yeah. Hey, listen. Hey.
Yeah, what?
Would you point me in the direction of that car, man? I spent enough of my fucking life in hospitals.
Jesus. No. You know what? I'd protest. But it occurs to me that you're unkillable. You want to go back, get clothes or anything?
Anything I left back there, I don't need. You're looking at her on that sky thing.
How's that?
I want to say it was only dark. Yes, any lights went in.
There's a parallel here to our own lives when we talk about the podcast. Winning isn't free. It's paid for in those 6 months hospital stays, literal or metaphorical, when you're forced to look at the dark.
People always ask, how do we change our stories? I tell them the same thing. You hold the pen to your own biography. The hardest experiences are just lessons you pay for, so you don't have to repeat the course.
A man once told me there's never a better time to reinvent yourself than right now. If you have a craft, if you have creativity, use it. Collaborate with people who share that fire.
Being exceptional isn't a burden, it's a responsibility. If you hide from your own greatness, well then that's the real sin.
Don't be afraid of greatness. Bet on yourself. Because in the end, that's the only way to ensure the light keeps on winning.
As we draw the curtain on this chapter, we want to take a moment to look back at the ground we've covered. This journey began as an exploration of the shadows, and it has grown into a community of those shining in the light. To everyone who has listened, shared a theory, or sat with us in the quiet of these stories, thank you. Your engagement has been the heartbeat of this project. And we aren't just moving into a new season, we're moving into a new era. We spent months listening to you, reading the emails, tracking the polls, diving into the comments. You asked for a deeper descent, and we're going to be delivering. Next season, we shift our lens toward the innocent souls that haunt the American landscape. We'll be conducting deep dive character studies into the architecture of True Detective, deconstructing the Yellow King archetype through the cold reality of criminology, and immersing ourselves in the humid, haunting world of Florida's Southern Gothic true crime. Most importantly, we'll be opening the vault. You'll be hearing first-hand accounts and professional analysis of real cases from the 25-year career of my co-host, Miami Night 17. This is investigative authority meeting atmospheric storytelling in a way we haven't attempted until now. We're also proud to announce that the cinematic vision of Zech Browning will continue to shape our world as he collaborates with us throughout the next season, ensuring the atmosphere remains as heavy as the subject matter. The ledger for this season is closed, but the ink is already wet on the next.
I'm Miami Night 17 with Elmar Floyd. This has been Innocent Souls in the Hands of the Yellow King. We'll see you in a new era.
Tearing written letters all lying on this floor. Just trying to make sense of something that I've already seen before. Cause you away, I'm dead away, screaming I hate this home. Is out of decay in every way. You'd rather just sit there. Cause you don't know me, my dear.